daylight to all. What do you have it to compare it to? What can you compare it to? That's the question. That's the discussion this morning. What can you compare it to? As I like to say, you don't know until you know. If this is all that you've known, what can you compare it to? Until that something, someone comes along. And then you can see and compare it. The positive, natural comparison. That wait, this is not what love should be. This is not how love should feel. Because now I've experienced it. So now I can do better. What can you compare it to when you have not had that example? You can compare it to what you believe deep down inside, what you feel is right, your dreams, your fantasy, whatever you choose. You compare it to that. I have my dreams to compare this life to. I don't have to fantasize. It's been a long time, but it's nice. But I have dreams to help me, remind me, and guide me. Luckily, I have dreams, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful to have conviction inside of me to let me know that something's not right. This that I feel isn't genuine, isn't real. That helps compare. Trusting in yourself is what it comes down to. Because in a way, you have to. Yeah, you might not had this and that growing up to show you a certain way. Or a person to be someone for you. Even if you didn't have that, what you do have is knowing what you like, what you don't like, what you'll stand for, what you won't have. So, does it really matter? Does it really, really matter if you were without? If you felt you were without? When you're not really, because you have yourself. You can guide yourself, teach yourself, be that, all of that for yourself. For example, if I didn't have a father figure growing up, and now that I am an adult, that shouldn't waver. It shouldn't waver me to, I don't know, bad decisions. When I still know who I am. Like, I'm a person, I'm an individual, I'm separate from that man, that woman. I'm still a whole person with knowing what I like, what I don't like, what I need, what I don't need. We have ourselves to compare our interactions and experiences to. That's what really saves us. Making the right decision, regardless of what you've only known, what you've only been told. That's you coming outside of all of that you've known, stepping outside, breathing that air, trusting in yourself, comparing it to how you feel. Not comparing it to what you don't have, which you never received. Just simply how you feel about it. Then, hopefully, you can compare it to your relationship with the Creator, my Father. He's not just the Creator, He's my Father. And He has taught me things, shown me things. So I know things. That's the greatest thing. Even if anyone here doesn't know better, doesn't do better, doesn't show you the right way, if you have a relationship with the creator of the worlds, he will show you the right way. He will teach you. Just like you gotta put in the work, you gotta study, you gotta put in the time. Yeah, you have to put in the time in order to study and in order to learn. I compare life here to the life I've had, the life I know I had, the life I believe I had. I can sense it. I can always sense it. Sometimes stronger than other times, but my dreams help me to see different, feel different while being in this world currently. I have that to compare it to. Compare this life, this way, these people. Thank God, because it seems like most of these people want you to be drained dry and become cold and then hate you for it. So I have things to compare this to, that this is not life. This is not normal. It was never normal. Not now, not then, not ever. I don't know what it is where now people are waking up to it, but honey, like, this was never normal. This was never okay. But I know the way the people in this world roll. It's if the majority is waking up, then we're all waking up. But if it's just the minority, nothing's ever going to sway them. It has to be everyone in order for them to take that direction. That's the way the people in this world roll. But this has never been normal. Just like there's people, shout outs to them, like older than me, that has been speaking up for what this life is, what it truly is, through the lenses of them. They've been doing this from the beginning, you know, to the time that they're in now, where they could be uh, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, but still always trying to allow people to see the truth, see that this is not it. And they do it by comparing how they see things, what they've known. It's never been normal. And now you see where, since the door is open, people are flocking in. But is it sincere? Someone in the back's like, it really doesn't matter, right? It shouldn't. As long as they wake up to the truth, that's true. But it's still true that what made you? Did you want to? Because there's people that have no choice now. When the doors open, it's those sort of individuals that now have to tell you the truth because you're demanding it. So some don't have a choice anymore. They know that they're in this here. What do they have to lose? This is it. Now they're coming to realize the time because the signs. But it's true that your sincerity is questioned because this is the same thing that's happened generations ago. What's so different? Like I said, the majority. You see, there's many truths, but there's the ultimate truth, but there's many truths. Like my point in this, because there's many points, many truths. But my point is, why are you now waking up? Why didn't you wake up a long time ago? What's making you wake up now? It's a very simple question. Because here's the thing, if you were to wake up a long time ago, a lot of things would it had transpired. You understand that? So it is just a simple question. It's appropriate. So I question the sincerity of these people, even though I'm on to something. I know that it's an appropriate question because it's true. A lot of people are not sincere. So there's that sort of thing. They're the ones that are not sincere, the ones that have no choice but to wake up. And then there's the ones that are waking up because they've always, they just kind of always been awake. You see, no one would like to ponder on those things because it sort of lowers the aura of that person because it exposes them. But it's the truth. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Tell the truth, expose. Like, expose me, See in my soul who I am. We're all going to have to be judged regardless. So, this should just be a preparation. When you sort of know the truth, you can ask questions like this because you know that not everyone is sincere. Because you know, again, you've always been awake, right? Like, oh, I'm waking up. Well, I've always been awake. And being awake for so long, you see, these same people weren't the same people back then. What's changed? Are you really sincere? I have that to compare it to. Just like someone saying, "Oh, I'm this, I'm that." Are you? If you were, then what happened back then? Why weren't you this then? Why are you just this now? If you were someone that spoke up for justice, you are someone that has always. It's not like, again, you can do and be for justice, but we're talking about the ones that stand their ground, the ones that have remained solid, the ones that become chosen ones of God. Excuse me, of God. Because understand it takes work. Not just once a year, twice a year. No. And you need to learn the real version and not just speak these things. You have to work for it. Just like certain words are very sacred, but they're in your mouths. Do you know the true meaning of it? But now it's become just like anyone can hold, touch, say, like people don't care. Almost like something has lost its value. But it's not true. That's why I have to expose it because, exposing people where I'm just going to expose you because you're an imposter. And not everyone has the right to speak or sit in these seats. But everyone can all of a sudden. Everyone deserves a reward. Everyone deserves to go to heaven. Everyone deserves to sit next to Jesus. Do they? When did this become just like anyone and everyone? Like, when did that lose its value? Like, do you understand there's value to that seat? There's value to that individual. There's been work put in. There needs to be work done to receive such a reward. But that's how I can compare it because in this world, I've lived in this world to see how they give their rewards, how they pass down their seat, how you can just how they've created this construct where you can go to these institutes and allow these fake teachers. Well, I can't even say they're fake, but these worldly teachers, right? Because rightfully so, these systematic teachers that they appoint in these seats teach you these things, and then you're rewarded and you're able to sit in these seats, these judge seats, yeah, these councils here. But to me, comparing it to where I'm from, you're just anybody. They just put anyone in these seats. So I expose it by telling you these individuals are cricket. They're imposters. They're wolves in sheep clothing. Look at their, the Bible says, look at their fruits. It's all still meaning the same thing, that, like, that's crazy works to just have someone lead a nation, a world, but be filled with darkness. But they're just giving anyone these things. Anyone now can claim themselves to be a priest and a prophet, a prophetess. I'm the first lady. How'd you, like, again, no value. Who are you? Well, I just married a minister. I married a pastor. So I'm the first lady. I should be respected. Why? Because you married a pastor? And then who is this pastor? Is he really a pastor from God, or he's a pastor just of the world? I mean, because regardless, you're right. Like, you're his lady, but what are you trying to say? Like, who are you guys? Like, to me, in my eyes, comparing it to what I know, you're nobody. But to the world, when they don't have anything to compare it to, you're somebody. You're the priest. Whoa, you're the priest. You are looked upon highly, as rightfully so you should, right? It's such a position. But we're not talking about the position. We're talking about the person. And this person that feels entitled, this person that looks at you and expects respect. Like, I'm supposed to call you first lady. I'm supposed to call you ma'am. I'm supposed to call you an elder. I'm supposed to call this man father because he's a priest. No, I don't. And so that is why you won't find me in those places around those people, because what sense would that be if I'm going into their territories and their buildings and their construct, disrespecting them? Because in their construct, in their buildings, in their churches, in their institutes that they created, that they founded, they paid money for, they own, they have a right to demand, command, feel entitled. You understand? So you would never see me in a place where I can't get jiggy with it. Like, why would I be there? That's like a hate crime. I'm only going there to hate on them. I'm only going there to disrespect them. Going into their house. I wouldn't be surprised if I was arrested. I wouldn't be surprised if you heard I was on the news and I was, found to do hate crime. Yeah, that's true. Because I'm going into their places, disrespecting them, coming to, expose, whatever the case may be, cause ruckus. That's what it is. But it's like, you go into a place where you know the people that are there are fellow followers of them, right? You know there's loyalty, you know there's devotedness, right? So don't be surprised if those people come after you, come after me. So again, common sense. Hold on. That's just common sense. That's to give you an example. Another example of what you have to compare it to. You have all of that to compare to yourself. You have yourself to compare to the world, the things in the world, the people of the world. But here's the thing, who are you? It always comes back to that. There are people that have issues. I mean, like, my goodness, they have mental issues. And then there's demonic people, right? You can be born with a mental issue, but then there's people that are just demonic. Who are you for you to be able to logically see through those sort of lens? Are you able to? Are you willing to? You know, I I think that I am speaking to decent people, but there are so many folks that are not decent below, and they know. They know that they can't trust themselves. They know they can't compare themselves wholeheartedly, right? Trust. That's the thing. They can't trust in what they see, like in themselves, because they are not who they should be. Maybe they are who they should be in the world. Maybe that's their program. Maybe that was their fate. We get it. But you get it. Like, they're not someone to trust. It's like one of Jesus' parables or God's verses, like something along the lines of, they're just deceiving and going to be deceived. It's like one of those things where it's really hopeless when it comes to those individuals, those sort of programs. And the only hope where that comes from is a certain individual that can see, that can trust in themselves, that is truly a light in this world and has sense, sound mind. If you don't have sound mind, how can you trust yourself? How can you trust enough to compare all of what you see and all of what's in this world to what you believe you know? what you have seen in your dreams, in your mind, in your fantasies, and who you are. That's tough. That's really tough, but it's the truth. And I know it's out there. I know there's many people, because you look around and you see people actions, you see people fruit, and you really are surprised to know that there's someone's leader, there's someone's father, there's someone's mother, there's someone's priest, there's someone mentor. You get it? We keep going. This is someone in someone's life. You know, and that is why in this world it's big on deceiving. It's big on, those verses of wolves in sheep clothing, or just, don't let your eyes deceive you, when it's more that meets the eye. It's in the eye of the beholder. It's all of those things. All those things come about in this world. Truly, I mean, they've always existed, but in this world, it is, those things need to be like ingrained into you, because you need to remember that. And if you are a person with sound mind, it's going to be easy for you to remember that, because what you see, what you know. Simply, you look around and you're just like, how is a position such as this being handled like this? Handled like it holds no value. Priest is one of the highest esteemed seats in the world. Do you understand? Priests are able to judge. They're judges, truthfully. I mean, we have judges, but they all work together. You understand? Like the way they all are in one house, they're freaking priests. Judges go to priests. They confide in them. And what? The priest tells them, right? Judges them. Gives them encouragement. Tells them what they need to do, what they shouldn't do, da-da-da-da. But they're talking to judges, right? They're talking to quote-unquote judges. That's the thing. Now we have judges, right, in these courts. Things like that, judicial system, where it's just individuals that hold that seat just for that reason. Like, they're gonna sentence you. That's it. I mean, see, that's why it's all connected, because most judges, right, if all, they're lawyers or something of that. So the real judges of the world are the priests. They're supposed to intercede for God. God is the judge, but he works through his priest. His priest, yes. And that is why it's the highest seat. You got that verse in the Bible somewhere where it says his chosen, the ones that he has appointed, judges and priests and things like that, and teachers in the world to come, because those are the highest seats. And so when has the value gone down? It hasn't. I said it. It hasn't. But in the mouths of these people, in the hands of these people, they show it that way. That dang, the value of this position must have gone down. This must not be an important position because of how people are handling it, how they just allowing anyone to sit in these seats. Now, obviously, it goes deeper than that, because it's not just, it doesn't stop at, they're just allowing people to sit in these seats. No, it's all constructed. Of course, they wanted anyone and everyone to be able to sit in this high esteemed seat. It's mockery. because we're God's priests. Where are his priests that he appoints? Well, you'd say in his house. Okay. But we're now in this world. Where are we? Well, you don't know us because you don't have anything to compare it to until we rise up. We have to rise from the pits. We have to rise from where we're at. And clearly we're not in those seats, right? Because you have to qualify, you have to be appointed. But now we're older and we see who has been in these seats, who they keep allowing the same sort of spirit. Why has it become all mockery? For some reason, you never find us in those seats. For some reason. And then for our biblical readers, you find that you're not even fine, but you know that. And I know this is a touchy subject to some people because some people feel like the one thing they disagree about, I don't know, let's say certain verses is, oh, God doesn't want you poor, or you shouldn't be, something like that. Let me just finish my point before I forget. You don't find, listen, you just don't find us in those seats for some reason. It ain't ifs, buts, what, you just don't. For some reason, you always find us among the people. Like just everyday, ordinary people. I'm speaking of God's chosen, God's appointed. Like the ones that rise out of the pits and you find out, oh my goodness, they were God's. You know, they were God's chosen. Okay, well, again, this is a construct. This is a system. And they are electing people that they know ain't truly who they say they are. Because who are the people that are truly God's? Well, they hate those individuals. The whole point was to keep those sort of individuals tamed and hidden and discarded. That's a threat to their system. They're trying to create a whole world where they're God. They're not going to appoint us if they find out who we are. Also, if God is taking your will, taking your will, your direction and things, he's not gonna make you and put you in those places. If he's directing your steps, amen. Again, he's teaching you, you're in his school, you're putting in that time. You're not gonna be in those places. Why? Because you're gonna be in his house. Remember, Jesus came to their tabernacle and he said, why are you selling and trading in my Father's house? But truth be told, he came into their places of worship, right? So he was still telling the truth. It was for you to come to realize why he said those things. Why would he have to say that to these priests in synagogue? Like, why would he have to say that to them if they should already know and be who they present themselves to be? Why are you selling and trading in this holy, quote unquote, sacred place? But instead, he said, why are you selling and trading in my Father's house? Because isn't this holy, quote unquote, sacred place supposed to be our Father's house? But it wasn't, you see. But he wanted you to recognize that. He only was fulfilling the word. Why are you selling and trading in my Father's house? Even though he's coming to their buildings, their construct. He's coming to false prophets, false priests. And that is why those exact individuals were threatened and crucified him. So it's more than what meets the ear. Like these verses, yeah, they're words, they're everyday words, but they mean something. Yeah, like his parables, there's something in that. You got to see the whole picture. In order to know this, you got to know that. In order to see that, you got to see that. Everything connects. It's not just surface level. Like, oh, there's just selling and trading in his father's house and they shouldn't. No. It's that this isn't his father's house. Because then you got verses where he says, if my throne was here, you would be the one in prison. You would be the one. But since my throne isn't, you were going to do this to me. He also has verses where he says, I'm going where my father is. I'll be sitting on the throne with my father. So how is this his father's quote unquote house? When he tells you already where he is, he's coming to this world to expose their wicked deeds. That he is not the ruler of this world, that the son of destruction is, and that they were going to do this to him because of who he is, because he successfully exposed them, their construct, their system of mocking the Father, implementing false prophets, implementing false teachers through the eyes of God. Now, through the eyes of you, you may believe them. You may believe them to be true priests, true teachers, because you have nothing to compare it to, because that's all you know. So then you have him on a cross saying, forgive them, Father, for they don't know, they can't see. But he came down, did he not? That's why they depict this world as darkness, because he says, I come into this world as light, to give you light, to guide you out of this darkness, to guide you through the darkest valleys, the valleys of death. So I'm showing you, I'm exposing it. I'm exposing them so that you can see who they are behind the sheep clothing, behind the veil, behind the glass. I'm going to break it. But instead, you broke him. You threw a veil on him. And still on the cross, he gave forgiveness and mercy and grace. But he did say in his last hour that I'm leaving. Yeah, my time has come. When he's been here from the beginning, he's been, according to biblical folks, he was here all the way into his 30s. But my point is that he was born here, raised among men, was raised in as a human, right? Like he was flesh, blood, water, spirit, just like we are. Like he's not just a spirit. You were actually able to see God the way that the flesh can. So he came into the flesh, right? They called him Emmanuel, according to the Bible, God with us. Still trying to show you there's more that meets the eye. It's not just surface things. So he was here from the beginning. And he said, my time, it's the last hour. All this time, though, throughout his time here, his 30-some plus years, he was always a threat to these judges of the world. I didn't say gods. I didn't say God. I said the judges of this world. In this world, who are the judges? And I just told you, for some reason, you don't find us in those seats. For some reason, you find us among the people, regular people, like the girl next door, I'm just like you, that sort of thing. But you find that these judges of the world were threatened by him. Mind you, he was also a foreigner of this world. He was also just a traveler. He was just here temporarily. because this is not his world, even though he created it. Because remember, in Genesis, he said, we made you in the image of us. We made the world, right? In 7 days. We made Adam and Eve, right? And then from Adam and Eve, we got so-and-so, so-and-so, with so-and-so, so-and-so. You got all these generations, all these families, interconnected, but through Adam and Eve. He even says, like, Adam was the first, but he is the last. He says little things. It's all around sprinkled in there. But they made them in the image. Remember Genesis? Remember Adam and Eve? Okay, so how does Jesus come about? No. Not through David. No. Because remember, he said, I was before Abraham. Yes, he was put into it to fulfill a will. So now you can see him in a certain chosen generation. Now he's going to be born into humanity. He's going to be born into the creation that they created already. You see, don't forget that part. So you hear him say, I was before this person. I was before David. I was before Abraham. And you know that's the Father. Did he literally have to say, I was before Mary? I was before my mother? Because he is the Son of God. Yeah, he's the son of Joseph. That's why they say, wait, isn't he a carpenter? Isn't this so-and-so's son? But they're forgetting. Some are forgetting. Some don't know. Some do know. But they're forgetting this is Jesus Christ. This is Emmanuel, God with us. This is the Son of God. This is the begotten Son of God that was sent into the world for our glory, to bear witness to him. I mean, my goodness. When he didn't have to come into this world, but he did, and he came as a baby. Just like we do, right? Like if anyone's going to understand you, he's going to be someone that's among you that was there from the beginning. Like he was raised just as a baby, just as you, go through the same things, live in this life, have to maneuver through it, survive it, work hard for it, sweat, bleed. He did all the same things. Temptation, start, being hungry, the body, the flesh being weak. He said, pass this cup, Father, it's heavy. Right? He was in the body. He said, Father, don't forsake me. He was in pain and agony. We love our Jesus. Remember who he is to remember who you are. And when you start to see him, you start to see why they hate you. They hate him. They hate anything of him. His name. You can't speak his name in certain places. You can't. But it's written on their soul. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. It's written in their soul though, but they prohibit it. We can't say his name. It's in contract. You're not supposed to, you can't. Why his name? But anyway, so, when that hour came, who were those individuals that judged him? Well, it was the ones that had the authority. It was the judges of the world. Who were those judges? Priests. Yeah, there's judges, but who were there? Priests. You ever wonder why the Vatican has so much power? Why he has these castles and this, because he's the highest. That's the highest seat. Who does everyone go to? The president. Who does because the president's just an actor, but who does everyone go to? Your own judges, your own whoever you think is powerful. You see how I can't even say who's more powerful, because it's like the priest. The judges go to the priest. Who else is powerful? There's no one else powerful in the world. Everyone's below that. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, the most powerful people are the ones below that. Like everyday citizens doing the actual work, right? Like our security guards, our police officers, our healthcare workers, our aides, all of them, everyday people are the most powerful. And that's why they say the people have the power. But for some reason, in this sort of monarchy way, it's like the priest is at the center. You have a picture, a diagram where it's who's at the top, the priest. But don't let your eyes deceive you, right? It's more that meets the eye. You turn it around, right, because it's upside down. And you say, who has the power? It's the people. And they're usually at the bottom. But Father says the first will be last and the last will be first. And the first that are in heaven, the ones that are, let's say, the most important in this world, has to be servants, has to serve. So don't worry when you believe and you feel in your heart of hearts that you deserve better, you are more than this, you're royalty. Well, it's true. That belief isn't just, it's filled with truth, and it's in your soul to know. That's why you have that sense. That's what you have to compare it to. And then there's the verses, and but you have yourself. You have that knowing. You have your dreams. You have your own understanding. If you have that sound mind, if you are those people, they could try to make us forget, and they do, and they put it in these stories, these movies. There's a curse. There's a spell. Everyone goes to sleep, and true love breaks it. Breaks the curse, the truth will be set free type thing. It's all still true. It's all still true. It takes love to free us, because what is this? This ain't love. You're not treated with love if you're here in the situation, handled this way, being strayed away from what is to keep you healthy and alive. No, it's straying you to death and sickness. That's not love. It takes love to break this. It takes love to set me free. Let it be a man. Let it be a God. It doesn't matter. Let him come for one woman. Let him come for his whole people. It doesn't matter. It still takes for someone to save us from it. It takes love to save us, to conquer through all of it. But people kind of focus on just the surface. Oh, it's just a fairy tale. It's just it. They don't see the whole thing. They don't see the whole thing. Some just choose not to. These fairy tales, these movies, stories, they're not lying. They just depict it. Not every movie is gonna be the same. Like if I'm the narrating is maybe, like the message of it is, but it's a movie, it's a story, it's someone telling it, retelling it again and again, the oldest prophecy. So in this story, it might be straight to the point. Like there's a curse on a whole world. and it takes certain individuals to break it. Or it could be a situation where there's a curse on a woman and true love, a kiss, breaks it. But she's asleep. She's sort of like, they call it like the sleep of death. Cause you ain't waking up. You ain't waking up. It's like you're just, in a coma, in a deep sleep. But for it to be considered death is only because everything around dies. When you go to sleep, everything else is dying. Like when I say, oh, you need to stand up, you need to speak, because every day children are dying, every day they're starving, every day, every second, I have to do this. If I go back to sleep, if I keep myself distracted, how is that going to heal my children? How is that going to help them? And that's just the children. But if I'm speaking, see, that's what I mean. The message is always going to be the same. It doesn't matter, how I depict it. If I say the children, okay, if I say the people, if I say the nations, the world, how is it going to help the world? How is it going to help nature? How is it going to help the people? How is it going to help the innocents? How is it going to help the children? How is it going to help? You see? Same message. I just prioritize the children before anything else. So they come first. So how am I going to help my children if I go back to sleep? Again, I'm not perfect. No one's saying it's going to be perfect, obviously. Just like I don't always have the time to speak because, I got to work in their house. I got to go to work. I got to make enough money to be able to pay for my rent and all these things. Yeah, that takes away from me, takes away from my energy, takes away from my time, takes away from it. Yeah, but I always come back to this mountain, right? So that is me coming back up to the mountain. But I got to go back down, but I got to come back up. I have to. Same message. Because if I keep going to sleep, and that's the thing, some people don't consider it that way, but because they don't see it all the same, they say, I'm not asleep, I'm just a little distracted. Same thing. So then I say sleep, distracted, dead, zombie, like infected, whatever the case may be, it's all the same. You have to stay awake, meaning you have to stand for truth, meaning you have to speak up for it, meaning you have to be consistent in it. This sort of work. And I understand. So I say, I understand you have other work. I understand we all have to put our time in other things. Your children, your family, whatever you got going on. Because people play in Playhouse Disney. So they got family, they got children, they got a man, they got a wife, they got all these things. So understanding, it takes time. It takes energy. And that being easily distracted is sometimes necessary. Like, you don't mean to be distracted. You want to speak more for the children of the world. You want to do more. You want to work more in Father's house. But you have responsibilities now because you've chosen to play Playhouse Disney. Or maybe some people haven't chosen. Maybe just things have happened, understanding. But you have other responsibilities. That's true. And that's okay. Because if you can't do it, there's always those that will always. And those are usually what you would consider the Avengers, the chosen people of the world. You start to zoom in and see that is their purpose. That their purpose might not be what you think. Like, they're going to live a regular life and still be able to. Maybe. But let's just see it this way. The way that you can live this life have this Playhouse Disney, whatever the case may be, and you don't always have the time. But you find that there's certain individuals, just like a nun, someone that dedicates their life to the mission. That means that they have to sacrifice certain things because it's all for the purpose. It's all for what it's all for. So you find that, I don't know if it's still the same, but you find that nuns, they don't get married, they don't have kids, because it's that devotion to what is necessary for the world. Like, so it's the same thing. It's like when you find that people have a duty, like a purpose, and they have to fulfill it, it's important. Nothing can get in the way of that. He's going to make sure of it. It's those things that it's okay. It's understandable. You have a life, right? You have to work. You have children. Okay. And so you find that there's those individuals that are the ones that will always stand on this mountain, always make it up to the top, are doing the work for you, doing it for you, holding it up, being those pillars to this building, even though everyone is flopping in and out now. Everyone has this knowledge in their mouth. Everyone's wanting to work when they want to work on it now because majority is working on it. See, that's okay. But hearing from a pillar, it takes work. It takes dedication. It takes sincerity. So yes, I have a right to say, and everyone that comes in and out of this building is sincere. But we paved the way. We made it so. Just understand that, because there is imposters. And there will come a day and an hour where you'll see that. You'll see all of what I'm saying and why it needs to be acknowledged, because it's giving creditation, true creditation and reward to the ones that have been least in the world, but have been the pillars of his foundation, of his house, of God's house. I'm not just speaking for nothing. Usually the pillars are kind of they're not seen. You just bypass them. But do you know, when you think about it, or when you take a look at the pillars, you find that that is what's holding up this building. That is how not even important they are, but how strong they are. How everything will crumble and fall and fell if it wasn't for these pillars. So there you got it. You got the pillars, and now you got this building. And now you got people coming in. Yeah. But don't forget those pillars. But even if you don't forget, God does. God doesn't. But we're not here, before you see the face of him, we don't have to wait. We don't have to wait to see the pillars. We don't have to wait to give that acknowledgement, that accreditation. That's what I'm doing. So yes, it's exposing everything. Because people just think that, right now they think, because when they face God, they're going to have no choice but to just see their truth and know their truth. It ain't no, oh, I think this, and no, you're just exposed. But we're not there, so I have to do the exposing because you would never do it. And then you also probably are blind. You probably are delusional. Like you probably think that you're just who you say you are because you've been in the lie for so long. It's just a lot of complex things that happens here. It's crazy works. So everything will be addressed. Whether some person may feel like, oh, you don't have to say, I do have to say that. And I will say that. Why can't I? It's the truth. Yeah, but it's just focusing on the negative. It's not negative, it's the truth. And if it was negative, why were you being negative? Why are you in the negative? Why is it you? Why do you care? You know? It's like people forgetting what this is. This is philosophy. This is my book. So I'm going to talk about so many different things. This book is not just one particular thing. No. This is just a chapter where you're gonna get the actual pillars of God is gonna get their accreditation. And so yes, I'm going to expose the people that are just in and out of this house that were never sincere, but they're in and out because they're able to. Right? This door is open. But the door is only open because of the people that did the work. Do you know that this door would still be closed? My goodness. He would have still, like the way he's coming, and he says, oh, I will no longer delay. He said, I will no longer delay. Why were you delaying in the first place? That'd be funny to hear it from someone that is a worker of iniquity, for them to question him why he delayed. You, because of you, not because of us, not because of the people that always been awake, not because of the ones that have been the black sheep and excluded, not because of us when we were least at the bottom of the barrel, not being chosen by the world, family members, for, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not because of us, it's because of you. It's like giving time to people to see, like, are they going to correct their ways? Are they going to continue crucifying my prophets, my appointed ones? Every generation is still the same thing. Who are you punishing? Who's always excluded? Who's always in the room by themselves in isolation? One of God's childs. And so you look around and you say, well, who's the rest of these people outside of this room? Because they have not taken allegiance with me. And who am I? You see, I'm God's daughter. So why are you doing this to me? See, I'm telling you, and I'm giving you the answer, but I'm also like, yeah, it's crazy. Because I can't never say these things now without understanding. So it's like, who are you doing this to? Well, I'm God's daughter. There's the answer. It's like, but who does that make you then? My adversary? Who'd you take your allegiance to if you're doing this to me? Right? Because if I didn't want to give you the answer and I worked around it, I would have been like, why are you treating me like this? But I know. I know. I mean, the answer still would have been there in plain sight. I just wouldn't be able to see as clear. Like, why are they doing this to me, Father? And like, I don't understand. Like, aren't I part of their family? And like, I look like them, talk like them. I'm just a kid. Like, I'm not actually bad. I didn't really do anything bad, but I'm speaking up for myself. And every time I do, I'm being misunderstood. And they're saying how I'm talking back, but I'm not talking back. I'm just saying something back. I'm just defending myself, but I'm not being disrespectful. I'm not cursing. I'm not, raising my voice like at my elders, my authoritative figure. So it's just like, what's the issue? You see, it would have still been in plain sight. The truth would still be in that, but is it fully? Can I fully see? Do I fully know everything? No. Right? And so now being filled with understanding, because again, words are sacred. I say these things for people to hear, for people to see, like, why would they do those things to you? Oh, you are the black sheep. You're the one left in the room, but you become God's chosen. You are the one speaking for them. You're the ones being that pillar. So it's combining all of what was and what has become. It's all those things. Understanding, that's what it is. It's Oh, now I see. So I play with it, you know, I rehearse it and I depict it and I can interpret it. So they've done this to God's child. They've done this to the begotten son. They've done this to his daughter. So what does that make them? Again, you give understanding and mercy. You say, oh, they're not demonic. No. We know who the evil one is, but you dang sure took your allegiance. Like he says, if they never listen, plain and simple, black and white. If you're not with us, you was against us. If you're not with us, then you're against us. I mean, that was my heart speaking when I said give understanding, but there's nothing to understand. Yeah, you may not be the evil one, but you dang sure was against us. Because there's no, to me, since I'm filled with understanding and love of my Father, I understand the love he has for me to where I even say things like, nah, you did your job. You did your work, because that's still the truth. Like, if I was supposed to be put in a dungeon, you know, bound like I'm a beast, excuse me. I mean, aren't we all beasts? Don't we all need to be humbled and tamed and trained? Yeah, so, hey, listen, I was in the dungeon, bound, leashed, you know, so that needed to happen, right? Because did it humble me? Yes. Did it quiet me, tame me? Yes. Because I'm a talkie. You know, that was the whole point that got me in that room, right? Kept me isolated, because I keep talking back, right? I keep defending myself. And even in the world, when I get older, certain people don't like that, right? Certain men are surprised when they hear me, because they're just like, oh, you like to talk, you know? So it still shows you like, okay, it was necessary. It was necessary because you already see that the world is kind of not into that, kind of not used to it, kind of is against it, depending on who you come across. But there's still the truth that it's just not something that in the spirit in this world, like whoever is the ruler of this world, their spirit, they don't take lightly to that. They don't take lightly to what someone else is saying, and if it's the opposite, right? And in this case, it's the righteous part, you know, righteousness. Like, fear is fear. If I'm standing up for fairness and I'm asking you, why am I being treated this way and no one else is, or why do they get to do this and I don't, like, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to answer to it, because now they're going to try and find the reasons, you know, on the surface. Like, oh, well, because you're younger, I don't have to answer to you. Or, you know, or this is my house, this is my rules. You know, they don't go deeper than that. I don't know if it's because they can't see, they can only sense it. I don't know if it's because they don't have permission. But even still, it's still all the same, right? To me, it's just that they, if anybody was going to speak of the spirit, anyone going to speak of the depths of God, it was going to be me. You see what I'm saying? It was going to be his people. It was going to be him. They only can dig on the surface and try to make their accusations, like justify it. Why are you doing this to me? And most of the time, you know, for me, I didn't ask my authoritative figure. I didn't ask it. I maybe asked like a cousin, you know, someone that's snitching on me. Like, why are you snitching? Like, what's the issue? Like, you know, and then I would be sent into the room. So I would never question it, because shoot, I'm not the ruler. You know, it's true. This is not my house. This is the authoritative figure, so I can't beat that. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm not about to go head to head with that, when it's just like, again, you're a child, and you also know in your heart that that's not right. You know, it's just not right. Now I'm an adult now, so it is right. I do have a right, but let's be real. You don't really have a right in a way where let's just say, when you're a child, you act like a child. And for me, I did it well. Like, I stood up for myself, but I never disrespected my elder, right? I never went up against her. And I never even actually hated her. I still don't. There was nothing like that. So there's something in my heart, something in my soul that is obedient and saved me from any of that unnecessary stuff, that they could have against me. Like, oh, she's disrespectful. Oh, she doesn't. Nah, no, they could never say anything bad about me. Just like if someone asks them, what's the problem? What do you have against her? They can't answer because I never disrespected them. It was actually very kind, kind in a way where I I acknowledge them, right? Like, hello, da da da. Just again, just stay in the child place for the most part when it comes to them. But when it comes to other children in the house, it's just like, of course, being a child, you're going to have those interactions as a child with other children, other kids, other teenagers. So it's just like that should be normal. For the most part, it should be normal. But on top of that, my interactions wasn't just to be a nuisance or a menace. Nah, it was just the simplest things, like, why can't I come downstairs? Why can't I get a sandwich? Why can't I go in the fridge? Why can't I get something to drink? Why can't I go watch TV? So if I'm caught doing those things, I am told on. And then I guess from that point on, they're telling me I need to go in the room. So it were the simplest things. But are you labeled this bad person for it? Yeah. Are you the one left in the room every holiday, every birthday, every celebration, every day? Yeah. To be made and misunderstood? Yeah. And you're questioning in isolation, dang, am I bad? Because you go on like the 7th year, punishment every day, school punishment, it's just like, the spirit of that starts to question it, like, am I bad? Because this is what a bad person would have to deal with, and it's not something that I believed. It's just, it's going to be something that just is around you, something that is in your thoughts because how the world is perceiving you. And so you start to get quieter. You start to get sadder. You start to just not be yourself. And so there's that testimony. There's all those things. And it's just, it's just like, wow, you become this. You become. That's one of the sacredest words, I tell you. There's sacred words, but that become, you'll hear it. I think people are gonna hear it more now than ever, because shoot, you're either gonna become or become. Whatever that is, you're gonna become something. You're gonna but you become, and you had to watch that. You see, you had to watch yourself go inside yourself. And that's just the horrible, horrible, horrible thing about it. It's just like, I can't change it. I can't snap out of it. I can't be happy even though I should be. I can't be happy even if I'm trying to be. But now people are seeing me and thinking that I'm rude or mean or unappreciative. And it's just like, no one's, and that's the thing with me. Like, I didn't have sob stories. I didn't tell people what I went through or what I was going through. Even though in the back of my head, I expected grace, I expected mercy, understanding, but, and that's the thing. It's like, do I have to tell people for them to treat me a certain way? No. Because what am I really doing to get this sort of reputation? Like, yes, I'm quiet now, right? But let's say you didn't know me before. How do you know that I'm just, like, why are you judging me off of just being quiet into myself? Why are you taking it as unappreciative? Why are you taking it as being rude? What if I'm just quiet? Maybe what if I'm just shy? And that's what I mean. It's just more spiritual because it was always harsh. You could never win. It's like I could never win. It's like when I was too jolly, too laughy, too loud, too me, that was an issue. I'm picked on because of that. Now I've been isolated for so long that I'm quiet. I'm in myself. My spirit is sad. I'm to myself. I'm not negative. I'm just to myself. But I'm still the issue, right? There's still an issue. I'm still disliked. So this was me trying to figure that out. And that was when I was going through it raw. There was no intimate relationship with God, but you can see that I was always God's. You can see that. I mean, I can see that, right? Like I can see the verses now because I know the verses now. So every time I tell my story, now that I know verses, it's just hard for me to not give context to it because I was living proof of the embodiment of his child. What they speak about, chosen or black sheep, it's just, oh. But back then it wasn't easy. Back then it wasn't something to be proud of. Back then it wasn't a choice. Like you don't know yourself to be a black sheep. You don't know yourself to be chosen. You know yourself to be what it is. The least, the isolated, the punished, the one that's always punished and in the room. Like that's kind of cringy. There was no hope. There was no hope there. It was very sketchy. And to know where this person will end up, you wouldn't really have high hopes. And that's what I mean. Like I didn't understand what was going to happen next. I didn't understand where it was going to lead, but I knew that this wasn't a position for a queen. I'm gonna say it that way. Like this wasn't a position of a princess. This wasn't a position of someone that has high hope and a prosperous life. Because this is all my childhood, my teenage years, all the way up until I was out of that situation at 19. But this was all my life, all my childhood, my raw years of learning and becoming who I am, sculpting and training. Because once you become, for me, once I moved out at 19, I was 20. So that is my adult years. It all panned out, but all of what that before I was an adult, like that was all freaking fire, Like I was walking through that fire. So yeah, when I moved out and I was now in my 20s, I'm maneuvering, this sort of independency, but it wasn't like what people would think. I'm not like out there in the streets. Yes, I've had experience, right? Just as an adult, like I'm going to experience things to understand things, but I wasn't out in the streets the way you would think. No, I was I still had morals. I still was humble. I still was me, right? I was still me. So even if I met someone, it's like, you already know what it is. Like I got integrity. So I see how, coming from a place where I was sheltered, coming from a place where, I didn't have friends and community. I never was desperate though. So I was just kind of being a regular person where, yeah, I'm meeting this person or these people, and you start to realize now in the world, who you are in the world, how the world sees you, because you already know how in the family, right? So it's like that's all my philosophy. Like it started in the family, but it was prepping you for what was to come. You're going on to the world now. I trained you, I showed you, I made you know like what's up, how you are, who you are. And that's why every year, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, wow, 20, 30, 31. Well, I just turned 31. But every year I would be on my bed, and I'm thinking of this view, but I would sit on my bed. Let's say it was like a holiday, and it'd be like, I probably just woke up and it'd be nighttime, and I wouldn't be sad, but I would say this every time. I would say, "This is nothing new. This is the same thing." Right? I'm older. I'm older. I'm older, but it's always been the same. You see, that was the training, because I've been through this already. I've been in the same place, and I say isolation is a friend. It has become that, because it's an old friend. Like, I've been here when I was 14. I've been here when I was 15. Where I was in the room and I was excluded from these holidays. When it was just right downstairs, right? These festivities are right downstairs where they're having a party and celebrating all these things. And now I'm an adult and I have all this freedom, I guess, right? But every year I'm alone. And now you would say, oh, it's a choice. Is it really? Is it really, when I choose not to fake it? I choose not to be desperate. Or in a way where the right people haven't came my way yet, right? So if I'm meeting someone and they end up giving me a obligation. Am I saying it right? Obligation. No, they're giving me an ultimatum, right? So if I meet someone and again, I'm just looking for a decent person. I don't have people, so it's just like, oh, I'm just meeting you. I'm in my early 20s, so hi, how are you? Like, let's just go out, or get something to eat, something like that. And then by the end of that, whatever their intention was, because see, that's the thing, you don't know who these people are. Only God does. And so this person could have been someone that had a really nice childhood, someone that meaning they're not me, they're not like me, they're not going through what I'm going through, they don't see the way I do, they don't feel the way I do. So who knows, right? Who knows what this person's intentions is, where they could be looking for a girlfriend, they could be looking to get married, they could be looking for just sex. Okay. But for me, at those times, it was just like, we had a good time. Well, what is a good time? Can we simplify it? Okay. Because Lord knows already. Like, we know. So yeah, by the end of it, it's just the ultimatum was just like, because truth be told, that's the thing. It's like, you meet someone and, at that age, I'm young, so I'm meeting younger people. I've met older people too, but for the most part, they were around my age. So of course, what do you really expect? Now that I'm older, like, what do you expect, right? But that's my point, that I'm meeting someone and I'm already a certain sort of individual. Like, I'm not just like any regular Susie. It's just like I'm already kind of tough and kind of full of integrity. Because remember, I'm already someone that speaks up for myself. So instantly, it's already going to be kind of harder for me. And I see that. Even if I'm looking just for a friend, I start to find out that their ultimatum was, hey, they'll wait till they leave, and then I remember this one time, this person texted me and was like, hey, you seem like a cool person, but I just want to let you know, like, if you do want to go out again, I'm not looking to be friends. Like, I'm not looking to, like, just be friends. And at my mindset in my 20s was, oh, well, then nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that to me, I've taken it as like a, dang, I can't even think of the word anymore. My mind's fluttering. But to me, that's how I took it. I took it like he was giving me a ultimatum, and because initially what it was, right? I'm wise enough. Like I've never been a fool. So it's like, yeah, nah. So I'd be like, oh, okay, well, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. And I'm a deleter. So after that, I'm not keeping you in my phone. Mind you, I just met you today, right? So we just went out today. And you tell me this today. I'm gonna delete you because that's what I'm hearing. Like, oh, you're not interested. You're not interested, right? And I'm not gonna fall for whatever you saying because I don't know you. And to be honest, I'm not looking for more than friends, right? Because I'm looking for decency. I'm just looking for some, like, just a decent person, and then who knows? But you jump in the rope, like, chill, like. So I'm a deleter. I've always been a deleter. I'll delete you. And obviously, it's not a cold thing. It's just because you're not in my life long enough for me to even know you. Because, like you said, first impressions. If you're giving me that impression that you're not interested in what I'm looking for, and I'm just looking to, like, be your friend or just get to know you a little more, and you're already telling me that you're not gonna, put in effort because you want more from me, that's not the way I look at it. That's not the way that it's supposed to be in my world, right? And I don't have to have a father figure or a mother figure or to have been raised with love, because I was not, other than my granny. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't, to compare it to, I have myself to compare it to, my understanding, my sound mind, my integrity. And it's just like, yeah, nah. You understand me? Yeah, no. So I'm very proud of myself. I mean, I'm not perfect. I've done things. I'm a sinner. But for the most part, my integrity has saved me. My pride has saved me. And I'm proud for standing up for myself and using those things, even though I have lost things for it. I've lost the world. I've lost connections or potential people. But did I really lose them if they were never for me? But I have to say it that way because I know the verse says you'll lose the world. So I'm trying to context it, but I'm also trying to make you see that, do you understand that verse truly? Because did I ever truly lose the world when they were never for me, when the world was never something to be given to me? I was to be given to it, right? And so that's the way I feel, and that's how I always felt. Call it prideful, call it this, but it is the truth if you know me or if you know the truth. I'm not missing out. If anything, the world is missing me, right? All this isolation and all this vow that I've taken where I keep myself reserved for the most part, why should I feel like I'm missing out when I already know what's out there? And then I also know what's in me. So who really missing out? I choose to come on this mountain and share my light because it would be selfish of me to withhold it. But is it I that is missing out on the world? Is it I that needs something from the world? Or is it the world that needs something of me? Want something of me? Yeah, okay. So that's the thing. To be able to compare, what do you have it to compare it to? Me. But I have to also, again, address that if you're not sound mind, like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not you, I'm not them, so it's kind of foreign for me to speak differently. Like, I guess the way I can say it is, you're not sound mind, whatever you are, like, I see that you can't. I know that you shouldn't. No. You need to seek God, you need to seek some counsel. But that's not the issue over here. So it's easy for me to say it straight. I can just walk straight. I don't have to take detours and stuff like that. But I take detours because I have to stop and interpret certain things. I have to think about the world. I have to think about you and how you see things. I have to think about the rest of the people in the house, what they saw, what they didn't do, but what I did, right? It's just like you exist too. So it's like I could speak all day about who I am, what I've done, what I'm doing to get me here, to do this, to have gone through that, to been treated this way. But I'm not the only one. There's also you too. So you know, it's like someone trying to read up on you. Like, okay, who are you now? What'd you do? What'd you choose not to do in order to not get this or to have gotten that? Like, why was this person treated this way and this person was treated that way? So we have to talk about everybody. Everyone is written in this book. You understand? Everyone has this this big I can I'm not even gonna butcher it. So everyone has their little story. There we go. Everyone has their testimony. And I'm not waiting for someone to tell their testimony. I don't have to. Because I have eyes and I see. And I have ears and I hear. Okay? My senses are working. My senses are awake. So that's the acknowledging. That's the exposing. I'm going to expose you when I got the time to. I'm going to expose you when I can remember it. So there that is. Because again, I know someone in the back like, well, you don't have to address that. Yes, I do. It's all in this book. You don't have to listen today. You don't have. You can turn the page. But this one is giving creditation, and because I mean, all of my book, all of it is giving creditation. All of it is showing you, telling you something. But it just depends on like how I choose to word it. Like, oh, you know, certain people aren't sincere, but they in this house. They speak in the truth. I'm still say it because it's still true. I don't care if you talking for the truth. Again, there's people that's talking for the truth that are truly against the truth. So yes, it has to be addressed. It's just again, people don't want to address certain things just like they don't want to address any of these things. Why? Because it exposes them. It's gonna make them uncomfortable. Well, how do you think I felt when I was isolated? Not chosen, least. I felt horrible. And it's not to give you a dose of your medicine, but it is. But it's not to deliver it. Like, I didn't come on here to deliberately try to give you the dose of your medicine. I'm just here to tell the story. Like, I'm just here to tell the truth. If the shoe fits, wear it. Because here's the thing. I don't have to give you a dose of your medicine when he says vengeance is mine. I don't have to do that. Like I say, I'm on a council too. So this is what I like to do. This is what I love to do. This is what I do. And that's it. This has nothing to do with you. I'm not thinking about you directly. I'm just like, let me tell you about the world. Let me tell you about my experience. Let me tell you about it. So I can care less about how you feel about it. Okay, so yeah, so back to what I mean that what do you have it to compare it to? You know, like what do you have this person to compare it to? What do you have this life to compare it to? What do you have this situation to compare yourself? And if you can't, then you find someone that you can. Because like I say, you don't know until you know. And they always say, how will you know the truth? You'll know it. You'll know it when you hear it. That's it. Right? Because there's so many people speaking the truth, so many blah blah blah. But it's like, how do you know who is actually true? You just know. Just like how like inside of you, you just know things. Inside of me, like I know who I am. It's just you know. You just know. It's easy to see lies when you're the truth. It is easy to see an imposter when you are the real thing. And those people that are in between, yeah, you're gonna have to try. You're gonna have to try. God giving you the same things He gave us. It's just if you're walking in the truth, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see someone that's not, but acting like they do. It's not like, oh, the people that are in between have always been just the in between people. No, you've made yourself the in between people by not walking in your truth or not staying solid, and you become that because everyone has all the same things: integrity, strength, dignity, a mouth to speak, ears to hear. If they're working, but everyone has that knowing what's wrong and right for the most part for themselves. Like if something don't feel right, if something don't sound right, and you can choose to say something or you can choose not to say something. But here's the thing: if you don't, you don't. But here's the thing: if someone does and they're solid in that, right? They always do it. They always do it. Well, they're always seeing someone that's always not doing it. They're always seeing someone that's lying. They're always seeing how they want to stand up for it. They're always seeing how they are the ones standing up for it. It's a choice, but again, the point is that when you start doing that thing, you start standing for your truth, you start standing for yourself, you start to see you don't need anyone else to do it for you, but you see everything. You see how there's people that choose not to. Why? Because you could have done the same thing. It's a choice. Even though it may not feel like a choice to you, because you'll say, oh, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing, well, it's still a choice though. Like, you can change your mind. But yeah, that person that's standing, just like you would think physically, they can see. They can see people that don't choose to stand. They can see people that stand and sit down again. But if they're standing, constantly standing, solid, they can see. That's it. They can see. That's it. That's it. I'm giving acknowledgement to them. Let's give accreditation. They just see. That's the reason why they see. Not because they chosen, God showing partiality. No, but I'm sure He will be delighted if He looked down and He sees somebody that just still standing when they don't have to. When they see people falling out, acting a fool, sitting back down, standing again, sitting back down. Okay, we'll give you some credit, but my goodness, this person is still standing, has not sat down. If anybody needs some credit or understanding or mercy, give it to them, because they're in for it. They're in for a whole lot of things just because of what they choose to do. That's all. It ain't nothing else toward you. It ain't, oh, if you sit down you're going to hell. No. But when it's time to be crowned, when it's time to be seated in a certain seat, don't be surprised. Don't be questioning things. Don't be trying to ask why you can't get that crown or you can't sit in that seat or you can't have those things. You know why. Don't you know yourself? Don't you know yourself? Haven't you been in the world to see others that are different from you? Now, I understand majority is like you, but it's not, it's easy. That's the thing. It's still easy to see the difference in the world because everyone is the same. You look around you and you say, well, yeah, I do remember there's one or two people in my life that just was different. And not like, oh, they trying to be different. They trying to be cool. No, sir. You know what I'm saying. So let's not play that game. Just people don't want to think. They don't want to think. They want to just speak. They want to just go off their emotions. And it's like you can't be that way up there because they go off facts. They go off intentions. They go off truth. They don't go off emotions, right? That's like, to me, that's like in a sense of showing partiality, because showing partiality can end up being unfair because of what? Like, why are you showing favoritism to what? Well, because this person's crying, and so what? I'm sad too, but I'm just keeping it in. But I deserve the same thing. But because you don't see it, no, I ain't having that. I'm not having that partiality thing. Like, that's the way I see it. Like, oh, because they look a certain way. Oh, because they're emotional. No, God will see you from within. All that little crying and stuff could be fake. Okay, probably isn't sincere. Just like some people will get up there and start acting a fool, and it's like, for what? What are you acting a fool for? Because you know that you're guilty. You know that you ain't worthy. But someone that ain't looking deep within a person, they're like, oh my God, like this person's so emotional and cares so much. No, they don't. They're crying because they know that they're being judged and all their deeds are being exposed. How about that? So anyway, I'm gonna leave it there.